Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and unpack the philosopher Alan Watts, specifically his incredibly provocative framework on work, passion, and, well, the whole human experience. We spend so much of our lives just grinding, working, chasing goals, but how often do we actually stop and question the fundamental blueprint of that chase? Today, we're going to break down a concept that honestly has the power to completely reframe how you view your daily grind, your ambitions, and really your ultimate purpose. So, I'm asking you directly, right now, what would you actually do? What truly makes you itch if money was just completely off the table? I know it sounds like a simple, maybe even a cliche question, right? But for Alan Watts, the answer isn't just small talk. It's literally a key that can unlock a massive, hidden trap that so many of us fall into in modern life without even realizing it's there. Section 1, the trap of sensible work, and why we choose lives we don't enjoy. You see, when Watts asked his students this exact question about money, they'd cite these amazing passions. They'd say things like, oh, I'd love to be a painter, or I want to be a poet, or I wish I could be a writer. But almost every single time, they'd hit the exact same roadblock. They wholeheartedly believed you just can't earn any money that way. And this brilliantly illustrates what Watts called the utterly illogical cycle of sensible work. Think about it. You do work you actively dislike just to earn the money to survive, only to use that life to go right back and continue doing the work you dislike. Watts didn't pull any punches here. He called this cycle exactly what he thought it was: completely absurd. We trap ourselves in this continuous loop that makes absolutely zero sense. He actually used this incredibly visceral, kind of gross metaphor to describe the situation. He said it's all retching and no vomit. What he meant by that is it's a cycle of deep dissatisfaction that never actually resolves into anything meaningful or relieving. And you know what the truly tragic part is? We justify our miserable choices by teaching our own kids to follow the exact same unfulfilling path. We literally pass this problem down through the generations, basically getting them to repeat our mistakes. Section 2, the alternative path and the power of mastery. Now, the good news is Watts doesn't just identify the problem and leave us hanging. He actually offers a very stark, clear alternative, putting a pretty huge choice right on the table. The crucial point here is choosing the quality of what fills your time over the sheer quantity of years lived. He asks, would you rather have a short life, full of what you genuinely like doing, or a long life spent in a miserable way? For Watts, what you fill your time with challenges the very metric by which we measure a so-called successful life. It's vastly more important than simply surviving for a really long time. His simple logic here dictates that true passion inevitably leads to mastery. I mean, think about it. If you genuinely love what you're doing, you're naturally going to stick with it. And because you stick with it, you'll pour in the time and the energy. Eventually, because of that intense dedication, you'll become a master. And here's the ultimate payoff, the real kicker. A master can get a good fee. Because if you are truly interested in something, chances are someone else out there will share that interest and absolutely value your skill. Section 3, peeling back the layer. What are we actually chasing? Once we solve the money problem, or, at least look past it for a second, we have to look deeper into human motivation. What's the actual end goal we're trying to achieve with all this sensible work and endless striving? Well, Watts had a pretty fancy name for this deeper desire: technological omnipotence. This is the ultimate illusion of control. It's that deep-down fantasy of being able to control every single aspect of our world instantly. Just imagine it for a second: a world with zero friction. Apples that never ever rot. Clothes that never wear out. The ability to transport yourself anywhere in a blink without waiting. No decay, no problems whatsoever. It is the absolute ultimate human power trip. But here is the massive paradox with all of that. If you actually achieve total control and zero problems so that your future is 100% predictable, well, then your future is effectively already the past. Make sense? If you know exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and how it's going to happen, there is absolutely no discovery left. And the direct result of that total predictability? Extreme boredom. It completely eliminates adventure. Total predictability turns this ultimate power trip we all think we want into a painfully boring dead end. If everything is under your absolute control, there's no thrill of the chase, there's no learning, and there's definitely no growth. Section 4, the core drive and the human need for the unknown. So if perfect control isn't the goal and in fact leads straight to extreme boredom, we have to look at what Watts suggests is our actual deepest desire. What is the core drive of the human experience?
According to Watts, it all boils down to a single word: surprise. We inherently crave the unknown. We actively crave the unexpected. We deeply desire the thrill of not knowing exactly what is waiting just around the corner. That, right there, is what actually makes us feel alive. But, of course, there's a catch. To get the thrill of those pleasant surprises, you absolutely must accept the risk of the unpleasant ones. You just can't have one without the other. Life's excitement, all the joy and adventure, it's an absolute package deal. It always comes with risk. You have to embrace the potential for things to go entirely wrong if you ever want the joy of things going wonderfully, unexpectedly right.
Section 5. The ultimate conclusion. Choosing love over power. This brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. If gaining complete control over our environment isn't the actual point of the game, what should we be aiming for?
Watts proposes a truly radical idea here. He argues that our intense drive for power is fake. It's not our primary drive at all. It's just a substitute. It's a reaction to an empty space inside of us, and it arises specifically when we are frustrated in love, when we can't truly connect with the world, with our work, or with other people. We basically chase control because we're failing to connect.
He bluntly says, nobody actually wants to be God. Think about it. Nobody in their right mind would actually want the heavy burden of total power, total responsibility, and absolutely zero surprise. When you really get down to it, a life of complete omnipotence sounds much more like a completely isolating prison than any kind of paradise.
So this brings us full circle, but with a completely new perspective. If chasing money keeps you in an absurd loop, and chasing perfect control is just a boring illusion that masks a lack of connection, Watts leaves us with this final, profound question to really chew on. What is truly worth loving? I want you to take a hard look at your life today and ask yourself exactly that. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning, and I'll catch you next time.